Okay, let's get right into it. We're always told, think for yourself. It's one of the most common pieces of advice out there, right? But has anyone ever actually shown you how to do that? It feels like we're given this big, important goal, but no instruction manual comes with it.
And that's really the heart of the problem, isn't it? We're all supposed to be these amazing critical thinkers, but without a clear method, what do we usually do? We end up just repeating what we hear. We borrow other people's opinions, their narratives, instead of building our own solid framework to actually understand the world.
So, where do we even begin? Well, let's start with a pretty radical idea from the source material for this explainer. You should start with the bias that nobody really knows anything. Seriously, instead of just accepting what experts tell you, the real skill is learning how to pay attention and see the patterns for yourself. And that leads us to this really important idea about narratives. See, most of the information we take in, from the news, from books, from anywhere, it isn't a structured, logical argument. It's a narrative. And narratives are incredibly powerful, not because they're true, but because they're stories designed to convince us.
Think about it like you're reading a book. Every single word, every sentence, every chapter, it's all been carefully chosen by the author to sell you on their point of view. It's a guided tour designed to lead you straight to their conclusion, and it often leaves out anything that might make you question the path.
So let's be really clear about what we mean by narrative here. It's a persuasive story. It can connect things that aren't really connected, it's super selective with its facts, and it doesn't have to follow any strict rules of logic. Its one and only job is to sell you an idea. And here's where the big difference lies. Let's put these two side by side. A narrative? That's external. It's someone else's story that just reminds you of their points. But a mental model, now that's something else entirely. It's internal, it's structured, it's logical. It's what you build for yourself to truly understand something. Okay, so if narratives can be a trap, mental models are the way out. This is the big shift we need to make. The most important skill isn't about consuming more and more information. It's about building your own internal systems to process the world and actually make sense of it. Think about it like this for a second. If someone starts speaking to you in a language you don't know, say Spanish, you wouldn't just nod along and pretend to get it, right? You'd need a translator. So why on earth do we expect to understand a really complex idea presented in someone else's terms without first translating it into our own mental framework?
And that's really what's missing, you know? The skill that so many of us were never taught is how to create our own models. It's the one thing that lets you go from just repeating what other people say to actually forming your own solid conclusions.
All right, that all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it? What does this look like in practice? Well, let's walk through a very practical journey, a path that goes from just being confused to having real clarity. You know, this journey didn't start from a place of genius. It started from a feeling of being confused, of feeling inadequate, of looking around and wondering, how does everyone just know all this stuff? The first step was simple. Just take notes to remember what was being said. Then it evolved into writing about the notes, trying to process it a bit more. But the real breakthrough, the transformation, came from starting to draw the ideas, to literally see how they were connected. So you can actually break this down into 3 really clear steps that anyone can follow. First, you just remember. That's taking notes, capturing the raw information. Second, you reflect. You write about your notes to start processing them. And third, the most important step, you understand. You draw the concepts, you visualize them, and you reveal the hidden logic for yourself. And this is so important. The goal here isn't to become a walking encyclopedia of facts. That's just memorization. The real goal is to see how different ideas connect to each other, to build a logical machine inside your own head that makes sense to you, because you're the one who built it. Okay, now we get to what might be my favorite analogy for this whole concept. It's so simple, but it perfectly explains the difference between knowing about something and truly understanding it. It's the jump rope lesson. Phase 1 is just learning the mechanics. You pull up a video, you watch how someone holds the rope, how they jump, the timing. This is all external knowledge. It's totally necessary, you need this basic information, but it's not skill. It's not mastery. Not yet. Phase 2 is where the magic really happens. You put the video away, you pick up the rope, and you just start doing it. You stumble, you get tangled, you try again. You start messing around, trying different things, and eventually, you start to develop your own rhythm. You're not thinking about the steps anymore. You're feeling it. That's when external knowledge becomes true internal understanding.
And it all comes down to this one simple, powerful idea. You can't teach someone rhythm from a textbook. You can't learn it from a video. Rhythm is something you have to feel for yourself. And real, deep understanding works the exact same way. It's an intellectual rhythm you have to find on your own.
So what does this all mean for you and for me? Well, it's basically a call to action. It's time to make a conscious shift, to go from being a passive consumer of other people's ideas to an active builder of your own understanding. So here's the game plan. First, just stop consuming narratives so passively. Instead, start drawing out the logic of what you're hearing. Start creating your own little concepts, your own terms for things. Start building your own models. And most importantly, start trusting that internal framework you're building. It's yours. So I'm going to leave you with a question, and it's a challenge, really. Don't just let this be an interesting idea you heard. Actually do something with it. Right now, think about it. What's the first big, complex idea you're going to try and truly understand by drawing it out for yourself?